All right, we're recording. All right.
All right.
All right, let's do this. Jonas, welcome. I wanted to interview my clients that we closed deals on. Obviously, I have a goal of working with 25 clients and helping them get to $1 million portfolio. And we've closed on 2 deals last year in 2025. And I believe we should be around at $500,000 for you. Is that about correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So first off, tell me about yourself. Obviously, for the people that's going to be watching, like, what do you do? Where you're located? Are you in Wisconsin? Just get into that.
Yeah. So I'm Jonas. I am actually not located in Wisconsin. I'm a remote investor. I live in San Francisco Bay Area. I've worked primarily in financial tech for the past 5-6 years, but I came from a family of real estate. So my dad's from Wisconsin. I used to, grow up going to the properties and where I'm from in Portland, and go help, trim the grass or, paint the house around, do whatever I needed, and started out my career out and thinking, okay, I'm going to just keep investing in a 401k or Roth or whatever. And then saw that there was no end in sight. So I was like, okay, I need to start investing in real estate myself. My biggest step was really bigger pockets. And that's how I started out, and then found Milwaukee as a great market with good, fundamentals. So reached out to Charles, found him on the bigger markets queue, and I got family over there too. So it was kind of a double-edged sword. It was pretty cool. And then started investing out there.
Awesome. So you obviously had some history with real estate, so it wasn't something completely brand new for you.
I would say it was pretty new. I didn't know the fundamentals of it at all. We were starting fresh, so it was definitely taking a deep dive.
Okay, cool. And then you obviously, so why Milwaukee? Like, what was about things you were researching that made you like, obviously you had some familiarity of Wisconsin because your family and everything else, but like, why Milwaukee?
Yeah. For me, I was young. I don't have a ton of cash. I didn't have a ton of cash at the time, so I needed an area where I could actually afford it. And then just the familiarity of having family there made it feel a little more comfortable for me, especially for someone who's never going to be on site there and see the properties throughout the whole process. So I think that was a subconscious comfort for me. And then just seeing that it had such good rent price ratios, it was becoming a hot market. People always stay in their homes there. There's really low vacancy. And so I saw it as a good, safe opportunity.
Okay. Awesome. So I guess one of my questions would be of like, what is your strategy? Like, what is your hope, and like, what are you trying to accomplish? Like, what is your buy box?
Yeah, primarily for me is value add. So the BRRRR method, some people say it's dead. Let me tell you, it's not dead.
Awesome.
It works just fine. But I just always like to get into an investment where I can really have some control and how I can add value to it, and see that whatever impact I have will actually have some kind of stronger outcome in the result. So BRRRR was a great example of that. And I think, as Charles knows, it took us a long time to get to our first steps. But once I saw that proof of concept, I saw that as something to run with.
Well, speaking of that, obviously we kind of let everyone know that you got a portfolio that's at $500,000, but as I know, being your agent, that wasn't the easy route, right? So we had some deals that we actually got you accepted offer on, and you bagged out. So from those 3 deals that we actually had you under offer, and I will bring up Michigan because that was the one where you literally bagged out the day before closing. So from that offer and that deal to now closing on another deal that we have, like, what do you feel like was the change? Like, why did you feel so uncomfortable to pull that trigger on that deal when we were a day away?
Mm-hmm. I think going into it and just basically what you read online is, oh, you got to get the perfect BRRRR, you got to get all your cash back out. And me thinking that that's the normal, which it absolutely is not. And that's okay, because you can still make great returns on it. I saw that and I got scared at what came out of the inspection of, oh, wow, I got to do more work on this property. And, there's a roof we got to replace. And never having done it before, I didn't have the full confidence. And then I got scared. I got cold feet. I'm like, you know what? This isn't safe enough for me. Let me back out now. Looking back at it, I think I should have taken that deal. It was a pretty good deal. But, I learned a long time ago from a mentor of mine. He's like, the worst thing you can do is take a bad deal in real estate. It's okay if you pass on a good one. Just make sure you don't take a real bad one.
Understandable. So I guess you can kind of say that you had fear and you let that fear win on that deal. Obviously, we got to eventually to the one that we did on 2849 West Juno. So from that fear to that one, because we also, Juno, we almost backed out. We had that one under contract. We did do some hard negotiation. I believe we got it down to like 110.
Mm-hmm.
So from that to there, what do you feel like was the biggest change? Because you had to do the same type of work. Because I remember there was some foundation stuff on the Juno one. I believe, I don't know if it was a roof issue, but there was some, I don't want to say similar issues, but there were some, I would say major
both,
issues.
all the above, really.
Yeah. So what from that one to this one, like, okay, I got to do this.
Yeah, I think after there's two others in between that we also backed down. I think it got to a point where I came to realize, like, hey, these are still strong deals. And when I went into the numbers, I compare them to stocks usually, and an average of 8 to 10%. I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm still going to make a much higher cash on cash return on any of these deals than I would just passively investing. And I knew that you can only read so many books, you can only listen to so many podcasts, and you're never going to learn as much as you do by actually doing something. So my mentality going into it was, hey, I mean, even if I don't make a ton of money, I'm not going to lose a ton of money probably. I mean, we have the boundaries on there. And at the worst part is I'm going to learn a ton. And I did learn a ton. And it was funny because going into Juno afterwards, it was a way bigger and harder rehab than West Michigan would have been anyways. And I think just me being naive and I kind of got the F-it mentality of like, all right, we're just going to figure it out one step at a time and we're going to do it. Helped me pull the trigger on it. And yeah, there was a ton of bumps in the road, but just trying to figure out what's the next problem in front of me and how do we resolve it. The day worked out great.
Awesome. So I guess I have to bring myself into this situation because I was along with you on the ride. Do you feel like there was things that I was doing to help you with that? Was there something that you felt like if Charles maybe did this, I would have felt a little differently? So like, what was that process of, having someone like me helping you through that?
Yeah. When it comes to like something you don't know or you're learning new, like I'm a beginner still. I see it as that. Like, I want to learn from people who've done it before, experts in the field, people that know what they're doing and build a good team. And I mean, like you, Charles, you have a great team around you. You know what you're talking about. So always trying to get your opinion on every single one. Like, oh, do you think this is actually a good deal? Or like, what am I missing here? And the hardest numbers to find are really ARV. What's the actual rehab costs? And then what's the number we need to buy it at for it to make sense? And you definitely instilled a ton of confidence in me knowing that this is an ARV that we know we can hit. Like, we know we can hit this. Even if we do a bad execution, we'll still be fine no matter what. And then bringing in Roberto and Carrie and other contractors to take looks at certain things and then helping drive that price down, really being a great negotiator. I mean, we brought it down from 175 to 110, which is crazy, and made the deal pencil out. And I was still scared at that point. So I think instilling that confidence in me, like, hey, like, you got to pull the trigger. It's worth it, I think, and you'll be there every step away. I mean, I talked to 10 agents, I think, before you, and in my previous career, I also worked at a real estate brokerage, so I worked with a lot of agents, and I don't think any of them would have stuck around after that deal is closed. After you sign that paper, usually they're out. They're like, hands off, it's yours now, go ahead. But that's where, Charles, you and your team is different. Carrying us along the way, saying, okay, this is the boundary, this is what you should do for this is how rehab should work, and making you feel really comfortable.
Awesome. Well, tell us a little bit more about Juno then. Like, how did that, once we signed the line, I gave you those individuals, like, tell us about that process.
Yeah. So we went along, signed it, got the deal under contract, had a scope of work. Prior to that, talked to a bunch of lenders. And then Charles gave me a ton of great contacts too to talk to. David Moe, one of them. Shout out to David. He was super helpful in guiding me along the way. I mean, although he's a long-term and I went with a hard money loan to start out, David was super helpful. And, rock stars know rock stars. So Charles Rolodex of people that he knows, of everyone you might need under the sun, was super helpful. And everyone I reached out to was so great. So, we started the rehab, scoped out at about 90K. We had a lot of foundation work. We had roof work. We had, outdated interiors, everything. And I think just me being naive, I'm like, oh, it's not that bad. We'll figure it out until we got into it. Went through the whole process. We had some problems along the way. But just, talking to more like Roberto and Carrie and them saying like, it's okay. Like talk to this person or this other subcontractor, finding better deals and better bids really helped. And so we got through the process. I think it was about 6 months. We had got both tenants occupied, got them up to market. There was a long-term tenant in there. We actually were able to keep her in the same building. We just moved her upstairs after we finished it up. So she got a brand new unit, and then filled up the lower unit. And yeah, at the end of the day, put in $100K, bought it for $110. ARV was $245. And then we got a cash out refi at 80%, did DSCR loan. So that left $50K in equity, which I had now, which was awesome. And then I also only left $24,000 cash left in the deal. Rents are at $24.50. My total cash on cash return year one was 26%.
Whoa.
And at the time, I'm thinking, oh yeah, this is like a single or maybe a double deal. And I look back at the numbers now, and I'm like, yeah, it was still great cash on cash return, better than I would have got in the stock market. So the deal worked out, and had a lot more faith, and it was a good proof of concept going forward after that for the next deals.
And I do remember, because I do feel like the market, and because like you said, with some books, people be like, if you don't get all your cash out, it's not a good deal. But obviously, you still left some cash in there, but you were able to get some out. Do you feel like that was your hesitation or fear because you're like, oh, if I can't get all my money out, then it can't be a good deal?
Exactly. Because that's all you hear is if you don't get your cash back out, then, you're leaving money. It's not working for you, which is completely wrong. Instead of paying, the average 25% down on, say, $200,000 property, you got $50,000 in, you got to pay up front. I have $24,000 in for that same amount of equity, and I am still cash flowing the same. So you just basically built out 25 grand in equity yourself. And not only that, you get tax benefits, you get plenty of other things along the way. So.
All right. So we're at 245 with the portfolio. And then Charles called you out of the blue and said, I have a deal under contract. My buyer is backing out because we can't get the price down $5,000. And I was like, this is dumb to get out of this deal. I called you up and said, I think you should take this on. What about that I guess you believed in me sharing that with you that this was a deal?
Yeah, honestly, it was really your conviction behind it. And we've gone through plenty of deals together, but this one you're really like, no, I really think this is a good deal. And I was not looking to buy specifically at the time, but ran through the numbers. I was still like, I'm not sure. We started out, it was supposed to be a flip. I'd never done a flip before. My vision was always long-term, hold, build a portfolio. And then looking deeper into it, and after talking to the contractors over here, I was like, this is a good deal. I should just pull the trigger and figure it out. And we did that. Was able to figure out the financing and find some cash to make it work and close on the deal.
So tell us about the numbers.
Yeah. So that one was purchased 127.5, so about 130, 20% down, which was 25.5, I think, was the down payment at the time. Rehab was we scoped it out originally at 50K. Ended up being around 62. So we went over, but it's because we added a little half bath. We had a little extra in there to make it nice. And then after repair value, also 245, which was kind of funny. But then just refinanced last week and was able to get a 75% LTV loan, cash out. I think I have 20 grand left in the deal now. It's renting at $2,200 a month. And let's see, what did I have the full cash flow here? 37% cash on cash return for year one, which I think this deal was really important for me to realize, to make sure you always have multiple exit strategies when it comes to any investment you do. So like this one was starting out as a flip. We were finishing up the rehab, and it was coming into the winter months, the holidays, and realizing the market's changing. Like no one's going to pay the 230 or 245 number that I needed it to hit for it to make sense to sell. But then we looked at the rents and what the market looked like. I'm like, we can make a ton of rent on this. It's going to cash flow great. Why don't we just turn it into a rental? Which we did that. it leased up in 5 days. Thanks to Anna. Thank you, Anna. She was great. She was amazing. And we got the people in. Our tenants got in. Was that 2 weeks ago? They're super happy, and it worked out. So having multiple exit strategies keeps your options open in the end. Even if it doesn't go according to plan originally, it's ended up being an even better deal than I anticipated. So
awesome.
Lots of options.
Well, I just want to share that because the type of broker that I am, and because I only work with investors, I know that going in when I share that these type of deals with my clients, right? I know that we just can't look and say it's a BRRRR, it's a fix and flip, or it's a buy and hold, right? We got to make sure that you have all those options. Because I believe I actually gave it to you. I believe I thought it was going to be rented at 1,800. I believe that's what I said to. So for it to be 400 more, because I know, like as we were talking, we started running the numbers and we did start seeing the shift. And I believe the extra money that you put in there is because we realized that you probably need to put a half bath in there, and that's what you did in the basement, which made a huge difference. And I believe that had the huge impact of why you were able to get 2,200 and not the 1,800. So I just have to commend you on being flexible and not cussing me out, because you could have been like, Charles, you lied to me. You said we could fix and flip this, the market shift. And I feel like working with brokers that understand what you guys are trying to do and not just opening doors, right? And that's one of the things that I try to make sure that I differentiate myself from other agents, is that I'm not just gonna take orders from you of, hey, just go look at this property and then I show it to you, videotape and give it back and let you do everything. I want to be a member of your roundtable, right? I want to be at your board, just being one of those individuals, not necessarily feeling like I'm a paid employee, but one of your advisors on helping you build your real estate portfolio, right? As I always tell people, I don't help you buy a property, I help you build a business. And I feel like that's what we're doing with you, right? You're building a business. Each one of these properties are an individual business that are in your portfolio, and you got to have different strategies and different outcomes. So I appreciate you giving, believing in me and allowing me to, give you those different options and not feel like, Charles told me this one thing and it didn't work out. So, because obviously it doesn't always work out.
Yeah, it can't be perfect, but at the end of the day, no matter what, we'll learn something along the way and be better next time. So it's been great.
So I guess we're not technically at $500,000. We're at what, 490? Because you said 245.
490, but it's close enough.
So I guess, like, what are your goals moving forward then? Like, now that you have a duplex and a single family, like what do you feel like is next for Jonas?
Yeah. I want to keep building the portfolio, and I think we can move faster, more efficient, lower costs. Like I said earlier, the proof of concept's there. So I know what it looks like a lot better than before, but still learn every day. Got a lot of great partners, built an amazing team thanks to you. And next steps, we want to stay in acquisition mode. The market's in a great spot right now. Rents are still staying really high and they're growing. Vacancy is super low. Prices are finally dropping. And if you can make your deals work at the rates they are right now, they're going to work even better later on if they go down. So next steps is just to keep acquiring properties. Don't be so worried of the cash flow right now. So for me, next 5 years, I want to keep acquisition mode, get up to, I want to get to like 5 million at least in properties then, and then start paying them off and start diversifying and reducing risk. But get to that point in time and just keep escalating. It's going to be an exponential movement up right now, and trying to figure out a way to scale efficiently.
So 5-year goal is to get to a portfolio of 5 million of just, I guess, different type of properties. Do you want to stick with just duplexes and single family, or do you feel like you're getting a little bit more courageous to try other bigger property?
I'm always interested in trying other kinds of deals and other properties. I love the small multifamily though. That's my bread and butter. I love that. I think it's just such a good investment. One roof for multiple doors is always a good call in my opinion. But it's all market based, whatever the opportunity comes about. I'm always open, whenever you have something, I'm like, hey, always send it my way. I'm happy to take a look. You never know. So we'll see what comes.
Awesome. Well, you kind of brought up, you did a portfolio loan. Obviously that wasn't something you were thinking about. So just tell me about that process before we wrap it up.
Yeah, my guy, Jacob Thorpe, he did an amazing job. Jacob was awesome along the way. When it comes to lenders, I hammer him with questions up front. I want to see who's built for it, who's not, and he absolutely was. That man, he was working really hard for it, and he found so many different options for me, and he actually took what I wanted out of it, which for me was getting the most cash out while keeping cash flow up and making sure that rate's at a good spot for long term. And he brought up a portfolio loan, which I didn't even know was an option. So my advice to everyone else is don't just assume you know every loan option. There are thousands out there that we've never even heard of. And someone's out there to help you and get the exact one you want, as long as they know and they understand, you're an investor, what your mentality is, and they have that same mentality, which Jacob does. But that portfolio loan, yeah, that was able to get our appraisal up to 245, which most of the loans I was thinking it would hit 225, 235, maybe if we're lucky. And he was able to use that portfolio loan instead, which is technically a 5-year ARM right now, but it's at 6.75% for 5 years. And at any time I can rate term refi and do conventional if I want to, or DSCR. So I mean, it left more options out the door, but right now we're in such a good spot, I have no need to change it.
Awesome. So I guess, like I was kind of saying, what's next for you? Do you feel like you're going to try to acquire another duplex, single family, or I guess whatever comes across that makes sense?
Whatever comes across that makes sense. Small multifamily is always my favorite. Maybe quadplex, maybe triplex, maybe duplex. Who knows? The last single family on Congress turned out really, really well. So I do like little single families here and there too. So I don't think it hurts to diversify a little bit, but small multifamily, that's the foundation that I think I want to build on at least, and then can diversify from there with a little other options.
All right. I'm going to be a little egotist. Go, why should someone work with me?
So the difference maker between Charles is, like I said earlier, you're not just an agent. You understand how the investor mentality, and not only are you a market expert in Milwaukee, you understand the investor mentality of, okay, how do we build a strong foundation for a long-term portfolio? Not just like, hey, here's a one-off investment here, here's this. And the biggest thing is, you told me at the very beginning, you're like, I want to be here for the long run. I'm not here to make my commissions up front and then just leave you hanging. I want to help you build a strong portfolio. I want to help you build this out, and for doing this for 10, 20, 30 years, if that's what it takes. And just seeing that commitment of you being on us investors' side and being like, hey, we're working on this together, not just this one single deal or just one property. That built a lot of confidence in me. And then the connections you had to help building a great team so quickly made it so much easier than any other experience that I'd had so far.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. And then what would you say out there to those investors that went through your situation, right? Because this is real life, right? You had 3 deals, you walked away from them, and then now you got 2 deals under your belt and under them. So, like, what is something you would share with an investor out there that might be on the fence?
You got to pull the trigger eventually. That doesn't mean take a bad deal. That means consult with Charles or other knowledgeable people that know more than you do. Like, surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. Say, hey, how does this deal look to you? I think it's okay. I'm a little scared. And they'll give you a good opinion on it. But eventually you got to pull the trigger. You can only learn so much from books, podcasts, or just word of mouth from your uncle at Thanksgiving. Like, you got to do it yourself. And that's how you're going to learn the most. And you're going to make a ton of connections along the way, and they're all going to want to help you. And the best thing about this industry really is that everyone wants to help you in real estate, especially in the investor community. Everyone's happy to share advice. Everyone wants you to be successful. So you just got to pull the trigger on it, at least first deal, and you're going to learn a lot along the way. I mean, it's a long-term play. We're not here to hit the lottery day one, so you're going to learn a ton at the very least, and you're going to make some money eventually. It's about being in the business for a long time. It's not trying to hit it big on the first one. So you just got to pull the trigger.
I couldn't say any better myself. Jonas, thank you so much, man. I honestly want to say you are one of my first clients that I have done multiple deals with. You are the proof of concept of what I'm trying to do, is that I don't need referrals, because I'd rather do multiple deals with you. And so I just want to say thank you for trusting me because you are remote, right? There is a lot of trust that we have to create, and I just want to say thank you, man, that you proved that my concept is working because you're someone that truly want to do this and you believed in me as I believed in you. So, man, I just want to say thank you for this opportunity.
I appreciate you, Charles. Thank you, man.
Thank you so much. Belazer.